Now we're going to look at rates, and rates are nothing but ratios, except that we are comparing two different types of quantities. So, for example, if I say potatoes cost $2.99 per pound, what does this mean? So, it just means potatoes cost $2.99 for every 1 pound. So it's $2.99 to 1 pound. So this is a rule that defines how much potatoes cost. So if it's 2 pounds, you're basically multiplying the numerator and denominator by 2, and we can figure out what it costs for 2 pounds. What if I want to just figure out what it costs for half a pound? I multiply the numerator and denominator with half, and that tells me how much half a pound of potatoes cost. So these are called rates. So for example, if I say I'm going at 60 miles per hour, what exactly does it mean? It means 60 miles per, so divided by 1 hour. So 60 miles to 1 hour. What this means is for every 1 hour, we travel 60 miles. So it kind of defines a rule by which we can calculate how far we've traveled based on the amount of time, or the amount of time that we've spent based on the number of miles. So, for example, if I want to figure out how long it would take to travel 120 miles, then I'd just multiply the numerator with 2. 60 times 2 is 120. But I also have to multiply the denominator with 2. So it's basically 120 miles per 2 hours. So for every 2 hours, I go 120 miles. So these are they're called rates, but they're nothing but ratios where you're comparing two quantities. So it costs $16 for 4 pounds of almonds. So it's $16 per 4 pounds. Again, this is a rate. The car is traveling 180 miles per 2 hours. So it's 180 miles per 2 hours. So that's a rate as well. So it tells me that every 2 hours we go 180 miles, which means every 4 hours we go twice as many miles as 180. So 2 miles in 10 minutes. So 2 miles per 10 minutes. The word per, which we usually use a forward slash, is really a division symbol. The car traveled 230 miles on 10 gallons of gas per 10 gallons of gas. So let's look at this. 14 blooms on 6 of his plants. So we can compare the blooms with the number of plants. So 14 blooms per 6 plants. So remember, the units cannot cancel because they're different. We can cancel some common factors. So 2 times 7 blooms per, which is divided by 2 times 3, which is equal to 6 plants. So now we can cancel the 2's and we get 7 blooms per 3 plants. Neil can type 336 words per 15 minutes. So 3 goes into 336. 3 ones are 3, 3 ones are 3, 3 twos are 6 words per 3 times 5 minutes. So it's 112 words per 5 minutes. So that's a rate. Each one of these is a rate. So 15 students to, so we're writing a ratio, 4 advisors. So 15 students is 5 times 3 is 15, 2 times 2 is 4. Cannot simplify the fraction any further. So 15 students to 4 advisors. So we're writing each of the rates. Rates are nothing but ratios in the lowest terms. That's what we've done so far. Now, if the denominator is 1, we call it a unit rate. So $2.99 per pound. What does that really mean? It's $2.99 per 1 pound. So that's called a unit cost. Cost because it is money. 60 miles per hour is the same as 60 miles per 1 hour. So 60 miles per 1 hour. 60 miles per hour. So each of these, this is a unit rate, this is a unit rate. The denominator is 1. So 3 pounds per $1. So that's a unit rate. 21 feet per 1 second. That's a unit rate. 50 miles per 1 hour is a unit rate. 232 words per 2 minutes. That's not a unit rate. However, if we divided 232 by 2, 2 ones are 2, subtract, get a 0, bring the 3 down. 2 ones are 2, subtract to get a 1, bring the 2 down. 2 times 6 is 12 and the remainder is 0. So this is 116. So I put these two numbers together, do the long division, I get 116 words per 1 minute. So this was not a unit rate, but with a little bit of calculations, we can change it to a unit rate. So what is a unit rate again? It's a rate where the denominator has a 1 in it. 1 unit in the denominator, and that's what makes it a unit rate. The book of poetry, The Prophet by Khalil Gibran, has estimated sales of 6 million over an 80-year period. So what is the rate associated with this problem? It makes sense to say dollars per 1 year. In this case, $6 million per 80 years. This is not a unit rate, but we could convert it to a unit rate. So remember, 80 is 8 times 10, and 6 million, 600,000 times 10. Just 1 0 less would make it 600,000. And then multiply it with a 10, the 10s cancel. And that's why we always say cancel the zeros. Canceling the zeros is same as canceling the 10s. So now let's see if we can divide 600,000 by 8. 8 goes 0 times into 6. Bring the 0 down. 8 times 7 is 56. Subtract to get a 4, bring the 0 down. 8 times 5 is 40, subtract to get a 0, and then of course for every 0 we bring down, 8 goes 0 times into 0. So that's 75,000. So what have we done? Taken this number and divided it with 8. So 600,000 divided by 8 is $75,000. But remember, the units in the denominator have not cancelled. Per 1 year. So an extra 1 here. Per 1 year. So that's $75,000 per year. So that's the unit rate associated with the problem, where the sales are estimated at 6 million per 80 years. We started with 6 million per 80 years. We simplified the expression by canceling common factors and with long division, and we get $75,000 per year.